Hi, good afternoon. Thank you all so much for joining this month's Kidney Connections program. We're really excited to welcome you and are so excited about the topic that we have today. Before we get started, I just have a few housekeeping notes. So first, the National Kidney Foundation of Illinois improves the health and well-being of people at risk for or affected by kidney disease through prevention, education, and empowerment. So today's program is just a really powerful way to support our mission. Also, just really want to thank our sponsors, Fresenius Kidney Care and Northwestern Medicine, for making today possible. If you're not already, please make sure to follow us on our social media, and our handles are on the screen for you. And then we also really encourage you to check out our new podcast. The Journey Continues, and we have a very new format, and it's amazing. So really encourage, if you haven't already, to check it out. And then as we get into today, if you'd like to ask questions during the panel discussion, make sure to click the raise your hand option so that we know to bring you on camera if you'd like to be on camera and speak on Zoom, or type your questions into the chat at the bottom of the screen. And then just before we get started, we'd love to know just a little bit more about you and who's here today. So we're going to be launching a poll question, and our question today is, which best describes your connection to kidney disease? And if you can just go ahead and fill out that poll. So we have, I am living with kidney disease, I am on dialysis, I'm a transplant recipient, I am a caregiver, family member, or loved one, I am a living donor or family member, or donor family member, I am a healthcare or wellness professional, or I am here to support someone. So thank you all so much for responding. I'm seeing a lot of living with kidney disease as well as transplant recipients. So we're just so grateful that you're here today. And I see we have a healthcare professional and then a couple folks who are here to learn or support someone. So thank you all too for being such great advocates, and making that connection. So we'll go ahead and move forward. I think we've got a response from a pretty good number. Um, so as we move forward, I'm so pleased to share our panelists today. And we have Cassandra Wilson, who is a nurse practitioner focused on whole person wellness, integrating clinical care, nutrition, exercise, and lifestyle-based approaches to support patients and families through compassionate, preventive, and personalized care. And I just have to give a huge shout out to Cassandra too, because she is also the amazing nurse practitioner who supports our kidney camp every year. We also have Dr. Leah Howell, a patient speaker and two-time kidney transplant recipient. Um, and they're planning on discussing wellness, resilience, emotional support, and the importance of staying connected through the kidney disease journey. So I'm so pleased to turn it over to these two amazing speakers and really excited to learn everything that they have to share with us today.
Right, thank you. Thank you. Alrighty, so I'm going to make my screen a little smaller, move it. We're going to start, and thank you everybody for having me here. We're going to start with everyone. We're going to do a very brief but very important. It sets the tone for the discussion that we're going to have. It's a guided meditation, and it's very brief and easy to do. So some people, I just want you to come in with an open mind. So I want to start, everyone take a deep breath in and out, like, and on your exhalation, close your eyes. I'm going to give you a scenario. So it's evening time after dinner. You're sitting on the front porch on a clear night. You can see the stars. You're in your 80s. So say you're 84 years old. How are you looking right now? How are you feeling? I'm 80 years old after dinner. Who's sitting next to me? Who's on my right? Is there anybody on my left side? What am I doing? What do you want to look like at 84? What do you want your life to look at? And then we're going to take a speed. We're going to take a deep breath. You're going to speed through your entire life every year. You're speeding through like the speed of light until you get to your birth. And you get to your birth, and then you're going to speed right back to your 84-year-old self. All of these experiences that you've had make you this 84-year-old. And how are you living? Are you happy? Are you healthy? How's this body? Are you independent? Are you getting around? Would you take a deep breath and slowly open your eyes? So I just did that experience, just a little experience. I want the presentation to be something that you experience and interactive. So keeping this in mind, like where do you want to be? How do you see yourself? Am I independent? Sometimes when you're living with a chronic illness, that becomes your focus. How not to be sick, how not to do what I can't eat, all the things I can't do. So here we're going to focus on how do I keep my entire self well by taking care of my kidneys and focus on the entire me. Um, Having a transplant or living with kidney disease can be daunting, but it's one part of who you are. So we're going to focus on the positive aspects. What can we do? So we're going to start. Okay, what's important to you? Okay, this is the you now. And on the other side, what's going on? How are you going to get to that I'm 84 or how old you want to be? What is important to you? What makes you happy? What's fun? Do you remember your favorite color? All right, so what's your focus? Am I focusing on being strong, being healthy, surrounding myself by with beautiful, amazing people that make me happy and have my well-being in mind? So your focus determines your reality. What am I gonna focus on? Am I focusing on being healthy and strong and happy? Um, Once you set the tone for your focus, that's what things are going to start. You'll be aware of different things. So, are you focusing on a healthy body versus just not being sick? What can I eat versus what I can't eat? Things I can do versus what I can't do. So you get the point. So it kind of sets a tone um, overall, our mental health. There is no health without mental health. We got to keep our kidneys strong, but also our mental well-being. So staying healthy has four basic things that we need to keep in mind. So nutrition, well, what you're eating, not just what is going in the body, what can my body absorb? If I eat something, am I going to get nutrition or nutrients from it? It's going to make me strong. Exercise, it's not just going to the club. It's what do I do every day? How do I get out of bed? And what's my focus? Am I going to be strong and make muscles? Am I trying to be independent? Exercise is your daily physical activity. Most people sit a long time. If you're a student or if you're working in an office, you're sitting for a long time. We're going to talk about some of that. And sleep, it's independent, depends on where you are. This is when your body recovers and you heal. And the last one, very important. What do I surround myself with? The people that I choose to be with, my friends, my work, all of those are very important. So basically, we're going to start with nutrition for our kidneys. We know that we don't want to um, overwhelm our kidneys. We don't want too much water, which will overwhelm it. We don't want enough. I mean, just too little. So our kidneys need a constant flow of blood, and it gets that from our heart. So it's like the heart is your engine. So that constant flow, everything you eat becomes your blood. Is it going to be thick? Is it going to be too thin? Is it full of nutrients, or is it full of things that our kidneys have to remove? Like too much acid, it has to remove that. Too many medications, too many outside things, too many toxins. Are we giving it good things that our entire body loves, or things that our kidneys constantly have to remove? So just to keep it in mind, your optimal nutrition for kidney care focuses on reducing the workload that is already on our kidneys. Our kidneys and our heart work all the time. So maintaining this kidney function helps to preserve our function as a body. So basically, we want to avoid fast and processed food. It has so many chemicals in it that our kidneys have to constantly remove from our blood. So we want to make sure we have protein for muscle and tissue building. So basically, you want to make sure you have enough protein. There's leading sources. One egg can give an adult body a full day supply of your protein and your B vitamins. So we want to concentrate it. Make sure you have protein at least with two meals. Um, Things like protein shakes are concentrated forms of synthetic protein. We want to make sure we're not putting so much synthetic or chemicals into our body that can damage our kidneys. Plant-based proteins are safe and usually produce less acid in the body. So we're keeping those kidneys nice and strong. So when you exercise, we're listening to our body instead of counting how many reps or how much weight can I pick up? What can I do? So the focus of exercise is improve blood flow and circulation to the kidneys. So when you're dehydrated, not enough blood goes in that kidneys and things can build up and you can get kidney stones. So we want to make sure we stimulate our organs to detox the body and help regulate our blood pressure. So everyone knows if you're living with a kidney disease or if you're living with a kidney transplant, our blood pressure is paramount. It has to be balanced. So there's so many things that you can do to exercise and keep this body moving. Walking, swimming, yoga, a jumping rope. You can do chair exercises. So your kidneys love those twisting exercises. You squeeze, give it a little help. And we want to make sure that our focus is on listening to our body. Don't overdo it because then you break your muscles down, toxins build up, and then your kidneys have extra work. So we want to make sure we get at least 30 minutes of daily physical activity. And then we're going to pick what is good and then helps that you feel good. You're going to make good endorphins. So the next thing we're going to talk about is good night's sleep. How do we get there? Depends on how old you are. Typically, an adult would need between 7 and 10 hours. School-age children, 9 to 12. And you see these teens kind of think that they look like adults, but they need more sleep, between 8 and 10 hours. Very important because a teen has the scaffolding of an adult, but they're feeling it in the lungs and that prefrontal cortex and that brain are continuing to grow. Uh, Teenagers become full adults basically, typically around age 26. So sleep hygiene, how do I get a good night's sleep? So typically, you're going to make sure that you're not watching a screen, your phone, TV, or anything 3 hours before you plan to go to bed. That blue light signals to your body that it's daytime and you won't make enough melatonin to fall asleep and stay asleep. So 3 hours before, no screen time, we start dimming the lights, quiet things down, and then you want to make sure you eat 3 hours before you go to bed too, so your body's not digesting or working the kidneys. It's the time for rest and recovery. So a lot of people leave out. It doesn't matter where I work or who I'm around, but this psychosocial piece is your emotional health. That's the piece that you need. So want to make sure that it's your total environment. How's my house look? Is it bright and cheery or dull? How do I remember my favorite color? And how do I interact with my peers at work? Or how do I interact with people around me or strangers? So your social circle is your support. They set the tone for how you're feeling. We want to make sure that there's minimized stress on your mind and your body. When you are stressed, you're not going to grow. You're not going to develop. When you're in stress, your body's in fight or flight mode. Your immune system is reduced, and uh, your metabolic process is going to slow down. So even if you eat nothing, and you're stressed out, you're going to keep that weight on or even gain weight because your body is slowing down and trying to maintain and trying to deal with stress. So, yoga, deep breathing, sleeping, walking, exercise, eating good foods all help to reduce the stress on this mind and this body. So your total well-being is this entire body. It goes beyond dialysis or blood pressure management or sugar. It is, what am I doing to my entire body? Am I reducing the stress or the load on my kidneys? Am I reducing the stress on my body? Am I getting enough sleep? So we want to reduce some of this by treating the whole person. Your kidney disorder, your kidney disease is a big part of you, but it's a part of you. So there's a other part. So we want to make sure that you keep in mind, especially when it comes to a family. Sometimes the kidney disorder or the issues that you're facing, medical issues, affects the entire family. And the younger siblings or other siblings can feel left out. start to act out and make more stress on the family. So we want to make sure that as a family, you do things together, have a meal together, do activities together, family game night, walks together, family vacations that include the entire family and also the person, that everybody can enjoy. So we want to make sure that the focus is what do you want and how do you want to live? And who decides that is you and what you focus on. So overall, you want to maintain peace and calm. So when you eat, all of your food is assimilated into your body. All of the environment you're assimilating is good. So what's good for your kidneys, it's good for your heart, it's good for your brain, it's good for your skin, it's good for your muscles. So we'll be open to questions after the final presentation.
Thank you so much, Cassandra. I think we're going to go ahead and turn it over to Leah now.
All right.
Fantastic. It is such a pleasure to be with everybody this afternoon. My name is Leah Howell, and I am a two-time kidney transplant recipient. I am incredibly honored and excited to share with you all that actually let's see, on the 25th of this month, so 14 days from now, I will celebrate my 22nd anniversary of this current transplant. His name is Joey. So if you feel like celebrating on the 25th of this month, have an extra treat, a healthy one for Joey and help me celebrate as well. But I want to spend a little bit of time talking about wellness for individuals who are navigating this kidney disease experience holistically, right? And just a little bit of information about me in addition to being a two-time recipient. My story with kidney disease started in seventh grade, but it didn't really come to fruition until I was right around 23, 24 years old. And at that point, I had already begun sort of my life and my career pathway. So my background is in social work, in learning science, and in executive function development. So not only am I navigating this sort of as a patient, but some of that experience and that expertise has been really helpful for me. So I want to share with you all sort of 7 high-level tips and ways that I think about wellness as a recipient, and how hopefully you might consider thinking about wellness as well. And Cassandra hit on this beautifully. I think the first thing that I want to share with folks and really encourage people to remember is that wellness means caring for your whole life. You are a whole human. You are not just your kidney or one individual piece of humanity. And so really being able to think about that from the holistic standpoint is important. Kidney disease, impacts your body, but it touches your energy, your emotion, your work, your routines, your sense of self. And all of that is sort of tied up into what is happening for you. Just like we have multiple identities in terms of gender, religion, or other pieces, that kidney disease aspect or the way in which you are connected to kidney disease is a part of that. And so I encourage folks to really remember and think about, how are you thinking about rest? How are you thinking about movement? How are you thinking about advocacy? And all of those aspects of pieces, not just because you are navigating kidney disease, but in spite of that, because you're also a family member, a friend, a person probably in a workplace at some point in your life. And so remembering really caring for your whole self, not just the kidney aspect of things, is important. From a medical standpoint, the recipient in me is going to tell you that I know it's hard. I currently see 7 different specialists on a regular basis. And so I am following, that's not my primary care doctor. So I'm following in lots of different practical areas. And let's be honest, our healthcare system isn't necessarily set up in a holistic way. Often it is set up in such a way that you have to go from one place to one place to one place. That means that some of those places that aren't necessarily perhaps as visible or priority for you may fall to the bottom. The one that falls to the bottom for me most often, and the one that I am saying out loud because I want to hold myself accountable right now, is dermatology, right? So again, remembering that we're not just caring for my kidneys. I'm not just caring for those primary those things that are in your face, but you're thinking holistically, and holistically outside of just that medical experience. The second tip, or the second item that I want to talk about with folks, is the idea of dialectical thinking. So emotional wellness for me means making space for more than one thing at one time. What does that mean? I am tremendously grateful for the people who decided in some of the most difficult times of their life to donate organs and to allow me the privilege of sitting here today. I have two different families out there who I think about all the time, who are absolutely the reason that I'm still sitting here today. Often as a recipient, we get these messages. They're like, "Oh, you should just be grateful. Isn't everything all better now?" Right? Oh, that's wonderful, those pieces. But grief can be a part of this as well, because we recognize as recipients and people who are sort of navigating and external to us that in order for me to be sitting here today, somebody else isn't sitting here today. And it's okay to have joy and that feeling of embracing the value of your experience. This month, I am going to celebrate on the 25th. I celebrate all the time. You have to take those moments, but it's also okay to feel, and not unnormal, or not unseen anywhere, to feel a level of survivor's guilt, or to feel some uncertainty, or to feel some imposter syndrome, because we do recognize, and oftentimes managing that emotional wellness can be having lots of different feelings at the same time. I want to reassure folks, whether you are a person navigating disease, a recipient, you're a caregiver, whatever role you're coming to the table with, being able to hold space for more than one emotion or more than one feeling is really, really crucial. It doesn't have to be either or. I can feel grief and gratitude. I can feel sadness and happiness at the same time. And sometimes it just takes a little bit of time to allow you to be able to feel and to create those spaces together. Emotional wellness can be really complex. And so I want to pause for just a moment right now. And if we could throw up, there's a quick poll. And I want you all to think just a little bit, when you talk about, or when you think about emotional wellness, what feels hardest to make space for in the journey? Is it the fear? Is it the grief or loss? Is it medical fatigue? Or is it hard to feel joyful? And again, what feels the hardest emotion for you to navigate? You want to take a moment and drop that in? I see folks coming in. Yeah. Yeah. Fear, the medical fatigue, joy. Yeah. We'll give just a moment or two here. And I also recognize, sort of in asking this question, that maybe more than one of these things are true. Maybe you're not sure how to feel grief or fear. Maybe the medical fatigue and the joy are difficult for folks to balance. If you want to go ahead and throw up the results for us, I think that what is helpful for me in seeing this is that there are many folks around the room, the virtual room, right, who have commonalities. And so having the ability to feel, whatever you need to feel, or to acknowledge that maybe I'm not sure what I feel, is really, really, is really helpful and valuable as well. And then to recognize that there are others who are experiencing that for you, or alongside you. We can go ahead and stop sharing that piece and move on. Perfect. So, for me, to that end, what emotional wellness means, and as you're thinking about it, it means relational wellness. It means finding those people who get it. Right. One of the reasons that I care so much about Kidney Connections and have felt so privileged to be able to be here, is because I know that when I walk in the room, there is somebody in that room who will understand what I am talking about, in a way that maybe others in the world won't understand. I might not have to explain all of the nuances. I can say something as simple as, "Oh, it's a high steroid day," and other folks who've had variations in their steroid doses will know what that means. pains and how that's impacting them. And so, or you know what, I'm getting ready to get my labs done. Somebody else might recognize or be able to resonate with that. And so, Kidney Connections, and I'm so glad that everybody is here, and I hope we'll continue to see you all, because this has been a powerful, powerful sense of community for me, and I think it creates a powerful sense of community for others. As I shared at the beginning, I have been navigating kidney disease in one way, shape, or form for 25 years, literally more than half of my life right now. And I've lived in multiple states. And every state that I've been in, being able to connect with the community through the Kidney Foundation or through the organ donation organization or whatever that looked like has been crucial in terms of identifying and maintaining that emotional support and well-being. So I encourage folks around this room, you're here today, and I think that's amazing. I'm so excited to see so many people. Keep showing up, keep leaning in, reach out to the names that you see on the screen or the people that are connected here, because we do get it. I actually just sent a message to two really dear friends who are a part of this community, just like yesterday, I think, or maybe in the last day and a half, where I'm navigating a lot of stuff externally for myself right now. And all I had to do was send them a message to say, hey, this is what's going on. Can you keep me in your mind? Can you keep me in the spirit? Having that makes huge, huge difference in navigating the kidney disease and the kidney disease experience, regardless of who your role is. If you are not the human navigating kidney disease, having connections to other folks who are, for example, living donors, or who are caregivers, or who are the significant other of a person, right? Those roles and that connection is super, super important. I'll tell you a little plug. The Harvard has done the longest study on adult happiness ever out there. I recently had a chance to listen to the lead researcher, and he gave this statistic, and overwhelmingly the research that's out there tells us this. When folks are 80, the key, most prominent, most valuable thing that they have done when they look back to age 50 that determines their happiness, their health, how they are navigating life at 80 is the relationships they had and the connections they had at age 50. And I'm happy to share the actual study because it's out there, like the numbers are overwhelming. So relational wellness matters, connection matters. There is no question that somebody has not heard. It is unlikely that there's an experience that somebody is not at least able to resonate with in this community. So I encourage folks to stay connected and continue showing up. And a quick plug, because I know we're going to give you more details, but if you are on this webinar today and you're coming to our in-person event in September, I hope that you come say hi because I want to be connected to you as well. So the next tip I like to give everybody, or want to give everybody here, is that wellness really includes asking for what you need, as well as protecting what feels private. I share a lot of my story publicly, in part because I am, by the nature of the work that I have done over time and the choices that I make professionally. I do a lot of advocacy work. I do a lot of public speaking. As an executive coach, I am out there in a lot of ways, and I show up fully and authentic. And so if you are a person who's engaging with me professionally, chances are you also know about my journey with kidney disease. But here's the thing that's also important. While I ask what I need and I share those things publicly, it does not mean that everybody has access to everything. And it's important that you, as the person who's navigating this, whether, again, you are the person experiencing the disease, whether caregiver, whatever the case may be, that you get to decide what you share, how you share it, and who has earned the right to that space. In fact, boundaries and establishing those boundaries are not unkind. They are the kindest thing you can do for yourself to protect your own energy and your own peace. And so, you don't have to share every detail with every person. Just because people show up and they want to be supportive, like, you don't have to give an update all the time. Sometimes you get a message from somebody who says, hey, how are things going? And you just say, I'm doing okay. Or, I'm struggling a little. Can you keep me in my thoughts? But you don't necessarily need to give all of those details up. There's a lot of stuff that's out of our control. Unfortunately, especially if you are a person who's navigating kidney disease. And so, take control and keep those boundaries in whatever space feels necessary for you and whatever space feels valuable for you. You have that right and that privilege. And that's a huge part of wellness, is maintaining that. To that same end, wellness also means having systems that will help you stay steady. So, as a coach, I spend a lot of time helping people sort of think about the fact that support doesn't have to be overcomplicated. Sometimes it's something, as simple as something that might keep you just a little more grounded. It's an occasional text message. It is the way that you perhaps organize the details. Do you have a notebook so you have a system in place to keep track of notes? Do you have a trusted care partner that maybe attends visits with you or that you process with afterwards? What are all of those things that are in place that will help you keep steady in terms of being able to navigate wellness, especially as you are thinking about kidney disease? It is really difficult to stay organized. And so, if you don't have a system in place, if you aren't keeping things all in one spot, I encourage you to think about how you might do that now. What does that system look like? Again, is it a notebook? Is it a care partner? What might that be so that you can go ahead and be your own best advocate? We like to think that folks who are supporting us, and they are absolutely there to support us, but you are the captain of your ship. And so trying to keep that system in place and what you need in order to be helpful is really, really valuable, especially because often we are tired or we are overwhelmed or we're not feeling well, right? And so when we're already carrying that and carrying that emotional load, being able to offload some of the cognitive load by keeping notes and by externalizing the questions and the follow-up that you need can really be valuable in creating a little bit more space for you to navigate the emotional and sort of the physical aspects of things. So, with that in mind, I want to pause for just a moment again and transition. So, support does look different to everybody. I'd like to throw up a poll if we could, and just ask real quick, what kind of support would help you feel more grounded, either in your care or in your caregiving role, depending on how you are showing up today? Awesome. All right. What I see most is somebody to help listen, take notes, process those next steps, ways to track questions and pieces. And again, if you haven't thought about these yet, I encourage you to consider ways that might be helpful for you. Fantastic. All right. I'm going to go ahead and move on. I have two last high-level points that I want to point out for you, if we could. One with this is that caregiver wellness matters too. My transplant journey has never, ever been mine alone. It is, experiencing both for myself and for the individuals in my life. My family, my loved ones, support people have all carried pieces of this with me along the way. But caregiver wellness matters too. And as the person who's navigating kidney disease myself, I sort of say things happen to me, but they happen for others. I can love the people around me, but at the end of the day, I can't also assist in their wellness and their well-being. And so in that instance, folks, if you are caregivers, I encourage you to find your own therapist, your own source of support, whatever that is going to look like for you in order to think about wellness for yourself. If you are a caregiver in the room, I just want to say this out loud to you because I think sometimes we forget this. Again, just because you're a caregiver doesn't mean that you aren't emotionally or otherwise impacted by this. In fact, we are definitely emotionally and otherwise impacted by that. You need to be able to process your own fear, your stress, your worry. And so I encourage you, if you're a caregiver in the room or if you're a person who knows a caregiver, to help them find and encourage them to find their own connections. And then the last thing I want to just mention is that wellness really means remembering you get to have a full life. Kidney disease, again, is part of your story, and this is sort of circling back to the first point. It's not your whole story. It's not everything that you are in this world and what your life is, right? I was really, really fortunate last fall to be part of Team Illinois and participate in the Chicago Marathon. I did that to celebrate 21 years of life with my second kidney and with Joey. It was a huge piece for me. I tend to celebrate things very visibly. That's valuable for me in order to move forward. And that was one of those moments. And my goals look different this year. Candidly, I'm navigating some health concerns and my family is navigating some things. And so what my goals and visibility and living a full life look like this year are different than what they've looked like in past years. But wellness really just means remembering that you get to live that full life every single day. Some days might be bigger than others, but every day is a day that you get to go ahead and navigate. And so being mindful of that and thinking about that from a wellness standpoint is really, really helpful. With that in mind, I really appreciate everybody taking a moment to respond to the polls. And we're going to go ahead and open up for questions that folks might have.
And I'm just going to jump in really quick. I saw that Terry had posted in the chat just a question about protein. And I think, Terry, what we'll go ahead and do is route that through one of our dietitians as well as a nephrologist for an answer. I know that protein requirements can definitely change just given what stage you are in your kidney journey. And I want to make sure that we get that best answer for you. I'm just going to go ahead and jump back on. I think that there might not be any questions, so we can maybe just go ahead and start to wrap up. So I'll start by thanking Cassandra and Leah both for being here today, and then also for all of you participants, please give yourselves a round of applause for coming out, and hopefully everybody was able to learn a little bit something today. I do just want to encourage everybody to save the date. As Leah had mentioned, we have some really exciting Kidney Connection sessions coming up. So, first in August, we're going to be talking on our webinar about prevention and everyday habits that support kidney health. And I think it's going to be a really great conversation. And then on Saturday, October 24th, we'd love to see you all in person. So we'll be at the Courtyard Marriott UIC for just a really great day where we can come together, learn from each other, and make those connections. I feel like this has just been such a valuable community, and I'm so honored to be part of it. We'll be sharing more details soon, so please keep an eye out and please visit our website for updates and registration information. But we're really excited to see you all, and thank you all so much for being here today. Hope everybody enjoys the rest of their day.